So a man who trolled Hillary Clinton with a meme on Twitter is literally going to jail for 7 months. This is The Brink. And folks, remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you like me and you like what we do here. And if you love it, you can also become a Daily Caller Patriot. There is a link in the description below. So Douglas Mackey posted this to Twitter back in the 2016 election. Now it says, avoid the line, vote from home. Text Hillary to 59925, vote for Hillary, and be a part of history. And now he is going to jail because apparently he conspired to defraud others, because there were actually, this is like crazy to believe, but there were people out there that actually did text that number because they really thought you could vote from home. And so what, prosecutors basically say is, look, he clearly meant to defraud these people because people did text that number. They did listen. They did try to vote remote. And look, can I just say something? If you are that stupid to see an ad about voting from home and believing it to be legitimate, honestly, I feel like that should be on you. Like, this is basic civics 101. You should know that you can't just text your vote in. I mean, these prosecutors literally said that this man tried to suppress the vote. Yes, a man who made a meme was really trying to tear down those pillars of democracy, when clearly the democracy is at stake because there are people out there that believe that a meme that says vote by text is legitimate, and then their vote dilutes my vote. And you know what's even more crazy is that the law that they charged him under, it was actually meant to charge people in the KKK. So back in 1870, there was the Enforcement Act, and Section 6 was usually invoked against groups like the KKK when they tried to stop black voters from casting their votes. Then the text was later revised in 1909 and 1948, and that's when it became Section 241 of Title 18 of the U.S. Code, which Mackey is charged under. So just a little interesting side note. But to kind of really put this one into perspective, this man will be thrown into prison by prosecutors because he allegedly conspired to defraud a voter with a meme that most people were able to look at and say, haha, funny. When will the 51 intelligence officials who conspired to defraud the public about the validity of the Hunter Biden laptop be charged? Because remember, it was former CIA Deputy Director Michael Morell who literally testified before Congress that then advisor Antony Blinken, who is, now Secretary of State, that he triggered the creation of that infamous letter, and that Michael Morell signed on to it because, in part, he wanted to see President Biden win. He literally admits that his motive was partly political. He wanted to defraud the public, make them believe that something wasn't true so that it would influence their vote. And it did. It worked. They did a great job, right? A poll by Media Research Center found that about 17% of Biden voters would have voted differently if they knew about the New York Post story on the Hunter Biden laptop. But you know why they didn't know? Because every corporate media outlet said it was fake news. It was Russian disinformation. And it took months, if not years in some cases, for the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN, NBC, MSNBC to come around and be like, we were wrong on this, not because they got it wrong, but because they just never tried to verify anything. Now, I want to turn our attention to another frightening poll. 47% of people who say they plan on voting for Biden in 2024 think, quote, the government should regulate or restrict the expression of views considered discriminatory or offensive. This is according to a poll by the University of Virginia's Center for Politics. The poll also found that about a third of likely Biden voters also think it's necessary to limit free speech to protect people's feelings. It is mind-boggling that people can be this complacent in their own potential oppression. The government literally did exactly these things that the voters wanted, right? And it was to control our health. Remember, the Biden administration, they pressured social media platforms to censor speech that was related to COVID. Okay, we're talking, vaccine skepticism, the lab leak theory, alternative remedies. And then the courts ruled that the administration violated the First Amendment right by censoring free speech. And yet these people want more of that? I mean, I guess it makes sense if you're a Biden voter, but just imagine petitioning your government to take away more of your rights under the guise of protecting someone else's feelings. And you know where this type of thought process comes from? It comes from higher education, right? Colleges, universities. Colleges across the nation actively stifle thought diversity under the guise of, creating a safe space for all students. And these liberal institutions, they deliberately condition their students to believe that their thoughts and their beliefs will not be challenged, right? So it creates a generation, and I know this because I graduated in 2020, it creates a generation of students who are so ill-prepared for the real world because they believe that their beliefs are not going to be challenged on the daily. They are not forced to confront what they always thought to be right. And instead, they just get to stay in this bubble rather than having to learn and grow and challenge their long-held beliefs. Because these safe spaces and the suppression of free speech and the want for the government to do so is very dangerous, right? But it's these types of things that lead to people saying, yeah, we want our free speech restricted because it was so great in college. I loved it. I felt so safe and cozy, right? Limits on the First Amendment, they prevent growth and thought diversity, and they allow people to remain within their own existence, right? It prevents them from having to adapt to adversity, and it ultimately sets them up for failure, especially our younger generation. So I see this poll and I am just genuinely concerned and upset for our future generations who may have to compete with a mob rule that wants to strip them of their constitutional rights. And without a strong constitutionalist in office, without judges who are willing to uphold the Constitution and not, have political or partisan motives, you will see all these rights just slip through your finger. And it's just so damn sad that that's what America has come to. Folks, we'll have more for you tomorrow on The Brink.